Story time on how I caught my boyfriend sleeping with his grandma. Wait, now that I think about it, he actually told me he wished he had an older woman.
Opens the door and she hears some noise, and it sounds like some pounding. Today we have a very interesting video. I just want to put in a trigger warning right now. This video involves content that includes SA and Viewer discretion is advised. If those are sensitive topics to you, please sign off on this video. I'll see you in the next one. So we have Azziana Monique. Or is it Azziana? I tried to find the correct pronunciation of her name. I could not find it. I'm just going to say Azziana. This is her TikTok page. She recently posted a 5-part story time of how she found out that her boyfriend of 4 years was sleeping with his grandma. Yes, you heard that right. You saw the title right. She's getting a lot of backlash right now because people think that she's too long-winded or that the story is fake. Let's dive into her story and I'll share some parts. A lot of people are saying this could have been one video, but again, this is her story. I encourage you to check out her TikTok and hear it from her side. I'm just kind of sharing the snippets. Honestly, this is just very scary. So if you can learn something from her story, great. I think this is a serious topic. For me, I personally like to believe all victims. You never know what someone's going through. So Azziana doesn't give much more information about herself, but she did say she was with her boyfriend of 4 years that she named Terror. That is not his birth name. Her boyfriend calls his grandma Known, and a lot of people were confused, like, what kind of name is that? I've actually never had a grandparent, but what I assume is that's kind of short for Nona, Known, so I'm just going to refer to them as that. And yes, this is his biological grandmother. Azziana basically said that she and her boyfriend, when they first met, everything was great. Of course, everyone has their own issues. What she did say was they both had their own houses and then they moved in together at the end of their first year together going into the second year. This is important for later.
So I gave up my house. He gave up his house. So the first year, I feel like every first year in every relationship be perfect as possible. It was something like that, but we had our differences. Okay, so keep in mind, his family was coming over there a lot. Not mine, his family. But that was okay, because I mean, that's his family. So I thought.
Also, something to note is that Terror, his grandma Known, lives about 2.5 hours away from this home that they just bought together. So that is pretty crazy. They both had their own houses. They met. They're dating for a year, 2 years. They move in. Terror is definitely family oriented. It often had Terror's family at their home a lot. Even her family too, but she basically says that it was more so Terror's family. Terror is also older than Azziana by 3 years. She kind of said that some of their issues would be that he always felt like he had the upper hand in their relationship because he's older. She says he made a problem out of everything.
He always felt that he had the upper hand. He always felt that what he says goes. Ladies, it doesn't go like that.
And he also had a child prior to them meeting, and she doesn't go into more detail about that, but something to note is that she was close to his child, so it is kind of sad knowing that and then knowing what happens. Known, the grandma, is apparently 75 years old. Azziana says she's like pushing 80.
Wait, now that I think about it, he actually told me he wished he had an older woman.
So one time, Terror was visiting Known.
So he went to stay with Known saying she wasn't feeling well, and who don't love Known? Everyone loves Known. This disgusts me. So when he was staying with Known, he wasn't answering the phone as much. It was always, I'm doing this for Known. I'm doing this for Known. I'm gonna hit you back. Or, sorry, I can't talk right now. So later that week, he decided to come back to the house he and I shared. So I checked the location on his phone. Found out from that he was on his way back. Known lived about 2.5 hours away. So it was like perfect timing. I could cook dinner. No one had been there but me. Good thing I did cook a big dinner, because when he came back with some of my family, some of his family. Known came. He had his child with him. Everyone was looking as if I shouldn't be surprised. They thought like maybe he had told me they were coming over. I was told nothing. We hadn't talked prior to this.
He was on his way home. He doesn't mention anything about people coming over or whatever. This is engagement night. keep that in mind. So he comes home and lo and behold, Noan is there, and then also other members of Tara's family, and then also members of Azziana's family, which is interesting because one, if she's preparing dinner, she could have had food prepared for everyone, but also maybe she wanted to get dressed appropriately. When I'm home alone, I would rather be prepared if people are coming over in general, even if it's one person. I gotta mentally prepare for that at minimum. Let me know if you're the same way. So he came home with family and he gets her flowers, which she says is not unusual. Even though this is her engagement night, she had no idea. He proposes and then Noan passes out. So before Azziana could give an answer, yes or no to the proposal, Grandma passes out.
Before I can answer, Noan was sick and wasn't responding. Noan had passed out before I can give an answer to the proposal. It felt so premeditated.
What's crazy is that Grandma gave Azziana a look. An evil smile is what she described it as.
I know I'm not the only one who noticed this part, but Noan looked at me and smiled. An evil smile. She was pleased with what she had done. She didn't want us to get engaged.
It's kind of unclear if she declined the proposal in front of everyone, but she did decline the proposal.
Everybody was in such a panic. They forgot about the proposal. I forgot about the proposal. My sister was there. She's a nurse. And his cousin was there. She's a nurse. Before we even called the Acadian, Noam got up like nothing had happened. She was okay, I guess. She refused help.
Well, apparently after she declined the proposal, Tara kept calling Azziana a liability and that she's just a cover-up.
He said I was just a liability. I didn't know what that meant at the time. So when I say I didn't know what that meant at the time, I soon later found out that I was actually there as a cover-up per se.
So things are pretty rocky.
Now we're in the middle of the second year and everything was okay, but not great. It got to the point where I decided to get another house and yeah. But we made it work. He actually proposed to me. Keep that in mind. When I left, I took my things. I took really as much as possible. You know, you always forget something important when you're rushing. Mind you, that is a house that we both shared, like I said previously. So there was no need for me to give my key back. So later I went back because I forgot some documents I had. I immediately noticed there were no cars there. And how the house is set up, we had no cameras or anything. So I knew he wasn't going to see me. If I did enter, I was going to be quiet, just grab what I needed and dip, but he wasn't there. Mind you, at the time we were still sharing locations. I hadn't had time to turn my location off, and I assumed he hadn't had time either.
Azziana actually goes to a gas station and runs into Tara's cousin. It didn't seem like the cousin knew that she declined the proposal because the cousin was asking how everything went with the engagement, how are things going, and Azziana's just thinking, that's weird. Like, did he not tell his family? He's pretty close to his family. Did they think she said yes?
Guessing he hadn't told his family, but I thought that was kind of weird because he's staying at the grandma's house. But I kept that part to myself because I'm like, maybe he don't want to tell anybody. Maybe he's gonna, I don't know what I was thinking. I asked her, had she been to Noam's house? She said she hadn't. And the last time she was there, her granny kind of rushed her out saying that Tara had to do something for her. She said, but she did not see Tara. She saw his car, but not him.
But Noam rushed the cousin out and said that Tara had to do some things for her. Something in Azziana was like, I need to go over there and just see what's going on.
Check the location. He was in fact by Noam. I had this eerie feeling like something wasn't right.
So she drives 2.5 hours to go to Noam's house. Apparently, Noam keeps her front door to her house unlocked. Let me know what you think about that. I actually know a handful of people who do that. That is super dumb. And I don't care if you live in a safe community or you know your neighbors really well. That is so dumb. Lock your doors. So when she goes to Noam's house, she remembers that Noam barely locks her door. She waits a second, tries to see if she hears anything, opens the door, and she hears some noise. And it sounds like some pounding. Sorry. It's not funny. But she hears something like that, and she said it sounds like this, or like some children playing. She said she heard beating on a wall. She went to Noam's room, and she was about to knock until she heard someone moan Noam's name.
It was something similar to kids playing or someone beating on a wall. Like, it was very loud.
So she busted open the door and she sees Known on top of Terror.
I bust open the door. I see Known on top of Terror. Terror jumped. Known rolled over onto her side, got under the cover like I hadn't seen her. I'm disgusted. In shock and in disbelief, I just walked back out. I screamed, I hollered, because I knew something wasn't right. Not only with him, but with Known as well. Of course, he did what every man would do. He came out, calling my name. I just got in my car and drove. I drove off. I left. For those asking, did I go back? No.
After that, she says she blocked him and never questioned him.
I blocked him. I've never questioned him.
The story just ends like that. Okay, I have questions. I really do. Not to be weird or anything, but how do you still have the drive to do that at that age, number one? On a serious note, a lot of people are questioning if Terror and Known are doing things together like that. Was he groomed as a kid? How long has this been going on? Because at some point, if someone is abused and that's all they know, I mean, it makes sense. I'm not saying it makes sense, but if that's something that all someone knows, honestly normal to them, and it's not their fault. So on a serious note, that is really sad. I'm not sure how old Terror is, but obviously he's an adult. It's interesting that she blocked him and never questioned him, especially if this is someone that you've lived with, you've been with them for 4 years. I did see some comments that were kind of confusing because people were asking, hey, does the family know? And someone says, you never spoke to him again? Does the family know? So apparently the family found out around the same time. Someone said, girl, I would have had so much pleasure opening that can of worms to his family, LMAO. Azziana says they quickly found out. That is really sad, especially because Granny's probably on her deathbed, or Known is probably on her deathbed. If someone does really terrible things and they're either passing away or they passed away, that really impacts your grief journey. There's that dance between, even though they're on their deathbed, I'm still going to address things that they've done to me and tell them how I feel. Or there's that other side of the spectrum where people say, you know, let them rest in peace. Don't say anything. But then when they pass, you might have extreme guilt that you didn't address things and built up emotions. Someone says, if this is true, he has more than likely been groomed and molested his whole life by her. It's actually really sad. I feel for him. A lot of people are shocked in the comments, and there's a good chunk of people asking if this is satire because they say they went through Azziana's page and it seems like she kids a lot, so they question if she's just doing this for views. Someone says, I feel like you telling stories because you won't even give us a part 2. Honestly, I feel like a lot of happens and you never expect who is doing it or who is a victim to it, so you never know what happens behind closed doors. Some of her content on her page does seem like silly. I feel like that doesn't define someone's experience or what they've been through. Someone can still be struggling inside even if their social media is just them smiling in every picture, so you never know. But what do you guys think about this? Do you think that the grandma Known was doing this to Terror his entire life? I mean, I feel like this wouldn't necessarily happen when both of them were adults, and that's just me suspecting things. I don't know. Do you think this is fake? Do you think this is satire? I think we should believe all victims, but let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Again, we are a community here, and I'd love to hear your opinion. You don't always have to agree with me. I just love talking to y'all. You guys are so funny in my comments. I mean, this is a serious video, but you guys are hilarious. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. If you don't, I just appreciate you being here, and I will see y'all in my next video. By the way, happy summer. I guess technically it's not summer until the 3rd week of June, but happy summer. Let me know if you have any plans this summer or if there's something that you'd like to do this summer. I want to try a different coffee shop, a local one. I will see y'all in my next video. Bye!